Okay, so Shalom Ubracha. So we are now within 30 days before Purim, and there's a lot of chizukim and connections between Purim and this amazing lesson 24. The one thing we'll start with is what we mentioned last week. We gave a shir on the Parsha last week on the clothing of the Kohen Gadol. We had the Choshen Mishpat. And Rashi says in Parshat Shmot that Aaron HaKohen, he was zochet to the Choshen because of his simcha in seeing Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu told Hashem, Shlach na b'yad tishlach. Use Aaron, who was already a prophet in Egypt. Use him. Why send me? And Rashi brings down that one of the reasons also Moshe didn't want to become leader, to take the Jews out, is because he didn't want to step on his brother's foot. Aaron was already a prophet. He's 3 years older than Moshe Rabbeinu. He's already a Navi. And he says he's going to be jealous. He's going to be upset. So Hashem says, not like you think. Vera'acha v'samach belibo. He's going to see you and he's going to be happy. In other words, he has true simcha, not out of jealousy. You're younger than me and you're better than me in this. No, you're fit for the job. So yes, you're better than me for this. And you deserve to be the leader to take the Jews out of Egypt. And Hashem promises him that. So Rashi says on the spot, Mikan zacha Aaron la'adi hachoshen. From here, because of his simcha, true simcha, without any jealousy and he's zochet to the Choshen. So the question is, of all the begadim of the Kohen Gadol, you have the tzitz, you have the ephod, you have other things, dafka the Choshen. Why does Rashi say he was zochet to the Choshen? Because of the simcha in his heart. Because there's a connection. There's a connection between the Choshen and the heart. The heart is the place of simcha. Natata simcha belibi. We brought this pasuk down in the beginning of lesson 24. Simcha is in the heart. David HaMelech says, Natata simcha belibi, right? And atzvut is in the heart by Hashem. Vayit atzev el libo. You remember the pasuk in the flood of the door of the Mabul. And Hashem was sad in his heart. Atzvut is in the heart. Simcha is in the heart. Choshen is where? It says in the parsha a few times last week. He put it on his heart, on the alibo, okay? So that means the Choshen Mishpat is an extension from the Simcha that Aaron had. He was Zoche and his offspring to the Choshen Mishpat. So Rav Nosson, I'll try to go to this quickly because I gave a shir on this last week. But Rav Nosson connects all the names of the 12 tribes to the idea, the tikkunim of this lesson, how to jump from Simcha to the infinite light. The first question is, why is it repeated? You have the 12 tribes already engraved on the 2 stones of the ephod here. Why again on the Choshen? Why a second time? To show you they have two purposes. The names on the ephod, the zikaron, that they should be, whenever Hashem needs to remember the Jewish people to have compassion on the world, so that's the names on the shoulder, on the ephod, on the ketafim. And this, the one on the Choshen, is for something else. It's for simcha, which brings to the Urim V'Tumim. Urim V'Tumim, in other words, like the infinite light, or Ein Sof, or Tam, because it's a clear answer what to do. Right? Yoshua, or Moshe Rabbeinu, whoever, would have to ask a question. So the Choshen would shine letters using the 12 tribes' names. Plus it had Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and a few other names, words. She had the whole alphabet on the 12 stones, okay? And it would shine the letters what to do. There's no greater simcha in life when you have clarity, right? We know that. When there's frustration, you're worried, you don't know what to do. What do we do, Hashem? What? I don't know what you want from me anymore. That's sadness. That's a daigus that brings the atzvut. And clarity brings to a lot of simcha in life. So simcha of Aharon led to the Urim V'Tumim, which shone clarity, okay? Using the 12 stones. So the 12 stones are the 12 tribes. Rav Nosson, just very quickly, Rav Nosson goes into every detail. He says Reuven, he's called Reuven. Why? That's on the first stone. She said, what did she say, Leah? Re'u ben bini u ben chami. Look at the difference between my son Reuven and my uncle, my father-in-law's son, Esav. Esav wanted to kill Yaakov for the birthright, and Reuven gave the birthright to Yosef. He gave it willingly. So he says, Rav Nosson, Reuven is someone who goes into the Hechal HaTmurot, the exchange chambers, which we didn't even go into yet. It's coming up in the lesson, right? And extracting the good. Not, in other words, the domain of Esav, and yet being pure. That's the idea of Reuven. Then you have Shimon. Shimon is funny. Shimon, she said what? Ki shama Hashem ki senua anochi. She called him Shimon Leah. She because Hashem heard that I'm hated. Why was she hated? Because everyone was saying about Leah, you're gonna marry Esav, and she was always crying, okay? And Yaakov doesn't love you, Yaakov doesn't want you, you're not for Yaakov wants Rachel. So she said, Hashem heard that I'm hated. So Rav Nosson quotes Rabbi Nachman, who also is called Shimon, who's hated? Someone who preaches people. A preacher, people don't like him. Someone who tells people start keeping Shabbat, to start doing, the people don't like, even though he's right, and they know he's right, they don't like the preacher. So in our lesson 24, Rav Nosson says, the mitzvah, when a person does a mitzvah b'simcha, the mitzvah goes to wake up the whole world. But who says waking up the whole world is done easily? People, I can't stand you and this, I'll do it, but I'm upset. So Rav Nosson says the mitzvah, when it wakes up people are hating it, but they know they have to do it because it's the right thing to do. So the mitzvah is called Shimon, Kishama Hashem, because Hashem hears that I'm hated, is the idea of the rebukers who wake up the people to come back to Hashem, and that is due to the mitzvah being done b'simcha. Levi, the Kohanim come from Levi, Aharon, his descendants, and they're the source of the bracha. Birkat Kohanim is the bracha of the hands, which we said many times in lesson 24. Then you have Dan. Dan is like dinim, tokpa de dina, tokef adin. That also, like Reuven, to go into the domain of judgments, severities, and extract the holiness trapped there by doing mitzvot b'simcha. Okay? Yisachar and Zvulun. Yisachar is learning Torah. They were dayanim, they were always just learning Torah. Because one of the greatest simchas in life, the greatest simcha mitzvah is learning Torah, right? Pikudi Hashem Yesharim, Misam Chelev. Okay? Zvulun, why is Zvulun happy? Smach Zvulun betzetecha. Zvulun's happy, why? Because he's bringing parnuseh for who? For Yisachar, right? And Zvulun has to face the grind of going to work and the Yetzirah and the klipot and the world of business and everything. But his happiness is, I have a purpose. I'm here in order to raise money, to get money to give to Yisachar. So that's why Zvulun's happy. Facing also the exchange chambers of money and business, etc. Okay? Gad, what was Gad known as? A warrior. And how was it recognizable, the corpse that God killed? He would cut, right? Zroa af kod kod, it says, right? He would, in one shot, would cut off the enemy's arm and head together. Okay? So the idea of God cutting off the arms, just like you have arms of Kedusha, the hands of Kedusha, the hands of Bracha, you have the hands of Klala. So he's able to cut off the enemy's hands. You have the opposite. Always in the mitzvah, we spoke about the hands activated by the Simcha of the mitzvah, activates the Bracha, which is the hands. So you have the opposite. You have the hands of the Tuma, and God's able to cut that off. Then you have Naphtali. Naphtali is what? Ayala Shlucha. A hind, a deer that runs fast. That's the idea of the mitzvah gaining momentum, running, okay? Then we have, who do we miss? 1 second, we said Dan, Naphtali, Asher is coming up, Gad we did, okay? So now Asher is obvious. We skipped two. We skipped Yehuda. Yehuda's before Yisachar and Zvulun. Yehuda is giving thanks. That's Simcha, Hoda'ah. Asher also, Asherenu. Hoda'ah is giving thanks, and Asherenu is feeling the Simcha. How fortunate are we? That's Asherenu. Okay? Yosef. We did Naphtali. The Ayala Shlucha, I said already. The swift deer. Okay? So the bottom row is Asher, Yosef, Binyamin. Asher, like we said, Asherenu. Yosef, he says, is the idea of the tzaddik, who when you're feeling down and depressed, is able to blow off the dust accumulating from the sadness. That person is heavy and down and he needs a boost. So you need a tzaddik in your life. That's idea Yosef. Like it says, Beit Yaakov le'esh, Beit Yosef le'lehava, or Beit Esav le'kash. Yosef is the flame, is the fire. Yosef is the flickering of the flame to extend. And Esav is the straw that gets burnt due to Yosef, the flickering of the flame. So Yosef is someone who gives hitlahavut. He's able to wake up people. That's the idea of tzaddik. Tosefet ruach, tosefet. It adds on your own, it's not working, so you need a tosefet, you need an addition. That's the idea of tzaddik. Binyamin, in his portion, was the Beit HaMikdash. When the Beit HaMikdash is where the infinite light is shined at the maximum in this world. That's why we're waiting for the third Beit HaMikdash, which is the portion of Binyamin. And in that part will be the light of the infinite light. So all these were on the Choshen, and they're thanks to the Simcha in the heart of Aaron, okay? So now watch this. in Megillat Esther, in the opening in Pasuk 6, I think it says that afterwards, after Achashverosh made a 180-day party for all the kings and all the ministers of all the 127 countries, he then made a 7-day party. Targum says for the Jews. Targum says not for the citizens of Shushan, but for the Jews. Okay? And what did he take out? What does Rashi say? He took out the kelim of the Beit HaMikdash. They were serving in the goblets of the Beit HaMikdash, silver and everything, and all the beautiful things in the Beit HaMikdash. And it says there also that Achashverosh donned the begadim of the Kohen Gadol. So Manot HaLevi, that's Rav Shlomo Alkabetz, he says in his commentary, why in the Megillah it's written Chur, Karpas, Chur of a big chet, to show, what?
Karpas is also a big chur?
No, only Chur is written with a big chet. Chur, it's listing the types of linens that he tied from tree to tree in the Ginat. He made them a big party outside in his garden, but he made a tent covering with gold and silver and twining of different materials of pishtan, of linens, etc. So of them it says chur. Chur is like a white chivar, a white linen, but the chet is big. So Manot HaLevi says, why is the chet big? To show that he was wearing the 8 begadim of the Kohen Gadol. Okay, the 8 begadim of the Kohen Gadol hinted to in the big chet. Okay. Now he's wondering why in this word chur, because chur also has in it anger. Charon af, charon af, anger, because that he wanted to initiate pain and anger in the Jewish people. So it's hinted to in the word chur. Okay. More than this now, of all the begadim, which one begins with the letter chet? Tzitz is tzadik, mikba'at is mem, right? You have the ephod, you have the me'il, okay? You have the garbaim, you have the michnasayim, you have the kutonet. The only one that begins with chet is Choshen. You got that? So meaning, of the 8 begadim, the main beged is the Choshen. And the Choshen is what? Simcha. Okay? So meaning, Achashverosh wanted to break the Jewish people's simcha. That was the whole thing. Why was he wearing the 8 begadim? Of the chet, the one that's sticking out is the Choshen. That's one you see in the most noticeable. The first thing you see in Aaron is the breastplate, right? And that's because the simcha, he wanted to infuse atzvut in the Jews. And this is the message. The main weapon of the enemies, the main weapon of the Palestinians, of the anti-Semites, of the Nazis, of the pogroms, the main weapon of all the goyim who try to bring us down, the main weapon of the Erev Rav is to attack our simcha. You have to know that. The main attack in life is simcha. Once your simcha is chipped, it causes a rippled effect. You fall to ta'avot. B'chol etzev yemotar, whenever there's sadness, person goes into indulging in lusts and unnecessary desires and tendencies. If it's food, lust of money, of sex, chas v'shalom, all these things, they come about because of atzvut. The person's unhappy. He's trying to fill it up. The person is trying to fill it up. He's after the video game. He's playing 50 hours on a video game because he's so empty, the guy. He feels empty about himself. So he runs to do this, runs to that, okay? When you know that, then you know that the main place you have to focus in life is simcha, okay? So this is just a hint in the Megillah, fine? Next thing I wanted to go into is this whole thing. We're still in lesson 24, right? We're in paragraph 7. It's unbelievable. This pasuk, Baruch Kevod Hashem Mimekomo, there's just too much upon it. There's too much on it. The Zohar, Parshat Truma, is very thick. It's a whole book. And in it discusses the secret of the Kedusha. When you learn it, you begin to appreciate more what we're saying Kedusha. So again, if you remember, just to recap, because after this you will have a question to ask, and we'll finish off with the question. The Zohar says we say in the morning 3 times Kedusha. We say in the brachas of Kriyat Shema, we say Kadosh. We just say over what the angels are saying, right? And then we do the Kedusha, and there we say Nakdishach v'naritzach kenoam siach, like the noam siach sotfar Keter. So we're actually doing Kedusha ourselves with the angels, and then we have in Ubal Etzion where we say each pasuk in Hebrew and then in Aramaic. So the Zohar asks a good question. Why 3 times? Why do we say 3 times in the morning? Okay? And this is besides Mincha. We say 3 times in the morning for the following reason. First time, in the brachot of Kriyat Shema, the Zohar says, when you go to shul and you start saying Hodu and Baruch Shamar and Psukei de Zimra, the angels in heaven are saying together with you Psukei de Zimra. It's a big thing. It's why it's a big thing to be in shul for the Kaddish and to be ready Hodu and Psukei de Zimra, because it's being said together with the angels. That's why there's a tumult. Whether you feel it or not, there's a subconscious tumult when you're saying Psukei de Zimra, because you're not alone. When there's a minyan and they're saying Psukei de Zimra, there's the angels also saying it together with you. Okay? So they go in with you into the Kaddish, Baruch Hu, and then the blessings before Kriyat Shema. So now to gain, the Zohar says something unbelievable. To gain their respect, we try to flatter the angels. So in the brachas before Kriyat Shema, we say over what the angels are saying. You angels are saying Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. And the Ofanim and the Chayot HaKodesh are saying Baruch Kevod Hashem Mekomo. We're saying it to the angels. The Zohar says this to type of flatter them, to be on their side. You respect us, because the truth is, the Zohar says they have a higher level of Kedusha. Why? Because they have no Gashmiut attached to them. They're totally spiritual. Okay? Our advantage over them is that we can be spiritual, but we have a Yetzar to fight with in order to get there. They don't have that. So that's a secret though. We don't show them that. They say that only after the davening. Let's explain. So the first Kedusha, the Zohar says, is we're trying to gain their respect and to gain their acceptance. So that when we stand together and say the Kedusha in the Amida and the Shmon Esrei, and we're saying it together with the angels, they're okay with that. We're now saying it. But then we have an advantage over them. We say the third Kedusha, which they don't say. First one was not actual Kedusha, it was just praising the angels and what they do. The actual Kedusha is in the Shmon Esrei, and that's it. They, during the day, have one Kedusha in the morning, and that's Shacharit, okay? Then we have above them the advantage of Uval Tzion, where we say the Kedusha again, but in Aramaic. Angels have no access to Aramaic. Why? Because Aramaic is the language of Tovara. It's a language of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's an admixture. Targum is an admixture of good and evil, and they have no connection to that. Why do we do it? The Zohar asks, why do we say the Kedusha in Aramaic in Uval Tzion? Because our goal now is to, when we say Kadosh, 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 so we are activating the Shechina's presence, and we say in Aramaic, we bring it down to this world. So that's in the morning. So we say it one time to try to flatter them. Second time is together with them. Third time is our advantage over the angels, and they're jealous about that, but they can't do anything because it's already after the Shmon Esrei, and the whole Shmon Esrei is done, and they got their part also, the angels. Now they can't touch us because we're untouchable, because we also got the Kedusha. So the Mincha Kedusha is really for the night. There's many different opinions about, because there's one opinion that says that Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh is said during the day by the angels. And Baruch Kevod Hashem is a higher level. It's said at nighttime when there's darkness, and from the darkness you say Baruch Kevod Hashem Mimekomo. It's a greater praise than when you see total darkness and you say blessed is the honor of Hashem from His place. So when it's total dark and you say that, it's a greater praise than during the day where it's light and clarity and beauty and splendor. So we say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Hashem. It's what Meloch Al Haaretz Kevodo. His glory fills the whole world. That's obvious. It's a lower level of Kedusha. The higher levels, Baruch Kevod Hashem Mekomo. That's at nighttime, okay? So it seems Mincha, we say the second Kedusha at Mincha, not an Arvit. We should say an Arvit technically, but because it's too much darkness and dinim, we don't see clear at all. So we say it before on Mincha. That's why the Arizal says the best time to have a Mincha is when? Right before Shkir, the end of the day. The best time is right before the end of the day to say it, so that the Mincha has its capacity of the Kedusha to go into the night, V'ezat Hashem. That the 3 Mishmarot, they say Baruch Kevod Hashem Mekomo. Okay? So this is just a summary, finishing off this idea of Baruch Kevod Hashem Mekomo from what the Gemara says and the Zohar says and everything. Okay? So, but all this is to show you that we activate both levels of Kedusha, of the Srafim and the Ofanim and the Chayot HaKodesh. We said, if you remember last week, the Ofanim and the Chayot, they say Baruch Kevod Hashem Mekomo. I wanted to say, last week I didn't say it, I'll say it now, is that Baruch is more like the Ofanim. Kevod Hashem is the Chayot. Baruch, he says, look here, he says here in lesson 7, right? Baruch ze bechinat yadayim. The ofanim are wheels. The wheels are like hands. It's an extension. They're like legs, really, but they get you moving. The ofanim get things moving like the hands, okay? And Kavod Hashem, which is Emunah, is the chayot, because the chayot are way up. Chayot, the Kabbalah, correspond to the fourth level of the neshama. You have nefesh, ruach, and neshama, chaya, yechida. Chaya, yechida, these two are inaccessible. Why? These two are parts of us which are in the Ein Sof, the Or Ein Sof, the infinite light. We can't access them in a normal conscious level. Conscious level, you can reach nefesh, ruach, neshama. Chaya is mamash, you have to be in things. That's why of the angels, the chayot are the highest level of these three, because they correspond to the chaya, which is the living essence, which is connected to God. And us also corresponds to our level. So Kvod Hashem, which is Emunah, like we said many times, Emunah comes from what? It's Malchut of Yetzirah, you remember? Comes from Malchut of a higher level. Fine. So that's Baruch Kvod Hashem Mimekomo. So with all this said, there's a question. Just look at the question. We'll finish with this question. I haven't answered yet for the question, but look at the question here. Look how we started paragraph 7. Ubi pnimiyut birchaan, right? And in the inner essence of the blessings, which is dakut, the refined part of the blessings, nitbarech mehem, is blessed from them. We say, what is the pnimiyut of the birchaan, dakut birchaan? The essence, the inner part of the blessing of the sechel, the pnimiyut of chesed, gvur, tiferet, if you remember, and the inside of malchut of Yetzirah, they join together. He's going to say that coming up. Once you join sechel of emunah, so you activate the pnimiyut of these two brachot, the bracha of the sechel and the bracha of emunah. You activate them now, right? You remember that? So pnimiyut of the bracha. As the inner part of Chesed Gvur Tiferet and the inner part of Malchut of Yetzirah, right? Nitbarech mehem. Once you activate them, from them is blessed the higher level now, called the Misader Miyashem of the Sechel, the organizing and settling of the mind. Shehi bechinat Keter. It in the singular. What does it mean in the singular? The Sechel at this level is called Keter. So what do you understand from this? How is Keter blessed? In other words, where does Keter get its energy from? Thanks to what? Thanks to you down here joining the bracha of the Sechel of Emunah. Right? Because look what he said. Nidbarech mehem. From them. From the Pnimut of the Birchan is blessed the Misad, the Meshav, the Sechel, which is the Keter. So in other words, the Keter is blessed due to you joining the hands with Emunah. The Birkat Sechel and Emunah. Okay? Clear? Watch the question. Look at the last line. So what did he say in the last line? Baruch kevod Hashem mimekomo. Okay, what is Baruch? Zebechinat yadayim, which is the pnimiyut of the birchan, right? Kevod Hashem, which is emunah, which is also the dakut of the pnimiyut of the birchan. Okay, so from the yadayim and emunah, where do they come from? Mimekomo. They come from the Keter. But wait a second, we just said in the beginning of the paragraph that the Keter comes from, right? Look, Piramid Bechan, Shudakudak Nidbach Mehem. You got it? You understand what I'm trying to say? I hope you got it. Mehem. That the Keter is being blessed from the hands and the Emunah, and here he's saying the opposite. He's saying here that the Baruch and Kvod Hashem are made Mimekomo from the Keter. You just said the opposite. You just said what?
Man and not. No?
Okay, good, fine. That's what I wanted to say. But more developed. Okay. Let's go through this quickly and look at the point. Okay, that we want to make. Right, from the essence of the blessings. This is a summary, but I want you to catch a point. Shudakuta birchan, which is the inner essence of the blessing. 1 second. Okay. From them are blessed the structuring and the settling of the mind. Shehi, this type of sechel is called Keter, and to prove that Keter needs to be blessed from somewhere else, here's the pasuk by Yitzchak: Ve'eyeh emecha, I will be with you, v'avarecheka, and I'll give a bracha to the ekeh, to the Keter that's with you. I'll have it midbarech. In other words, it will be midbarech from what? from Yadayim, the hands, and the Emunah, the Birkat HaSechel and the Emunah. Keter Lashon Hamtana, Como Shekatuv, right? Qatar Lizair, wait for me a little. Adam is a sechel. When you ask a person some level of intellect, he says, Omer Hamten Ad Shet Yashev, wait a little till I answer you. We went through this many times. V'gam Sham Tzarech Emunah, they're also in Emunah. B'vchenet Amon Mufla, the Emunah of Pele, we went into that also. And now he says, using the Kabbalistic terminology, V'zeh Bechinat, Shemi Pnimiyut Chesed Gvur Tiferet, from the inner essence Chesed Gvur Tiferet, and the inner essence of Malchut of Yetzirah, Nasa Keter Dasiyah, is made the Keter Asiyah. Fine. And then he makes this statement, V'chen Oli La'olamot Ad Lemala. And this is how the worlds go up until above, and then until Atzilut, above. So we went into this, that there's 4 worlds. Everything we said until now in this lesson was the first world of Asiyah. We hit the Keter of Asiyah, now we're ready for the world of Yetzirah. This is how the world now will go in the world of Yetzirah to get to the Keter of Yetzirah, like this, where you have to join the Emunah of the next world, down with the Chochem, the Chabad and Chagat, whatever it is, of the lower world. So the Yetzirah's Chesed Gvur Tiferet, it's the Chabad that's contained within, it has to join with the Emunah of the world of Bria, in order to go up to the next world, right? And then we said, Ad Atzilut Lemala Lemala. What's Atzilut? 2 more worlds, Bria and Atzilut. That's why he said Lemala Lemala. So you have 4 times 3 Lemalas, 1 for Yetzirah, Bria, Atzilut. Okay? So, and now we're talking into now the world of Asiyah. So all 4 worlds are mentioned here. And he's saying, this is the process of going up Lemala Lemala. Okay? And then after saying this, Rabbeinu could have finished, period. Why does he throw in V'zeh Baruch Kevod Hashem Mimikomo? Why is he throwing this in? Because he's trying to say something amazing. It's true that you activate the Keter by you doing it, my nukvin, by you doing the bracha, the hands, and the emunah. You activate Keter, it's true. But what initiated you before that to, in the first place, get a move on to try to be besimcha and to go up is Keter. So it's explained nicely by the Me'anacha. Me'anacha is one of the commentaries on the Likutey Moharan. He says like this: when you reach the Keter of Asiyah, okay, what happens when you're bounced back and then you have the infinite light filling you in, which we're going to come into? You get simcha. You get now what's called simcha yetera, greater joy. So the greater joy now helps you now for the malchut of Yetzirah. You have now simcha thanks to the Keter, makom. Each world is called, the Keter is called makom. Of the 4 worlds, the Keter is the makom. It's connected to the infinite light. It's like, it's the gateway to the infinite light, but leading you to the next dimension. The Keter of the lower world becomes malchut of the upper world, right? We went into this many times. Okay? So because now you had a head start from makomo, that gives you Baruch Kevod Hashem Mikomo, yes? But now to get to the next Keter, you need first the Pnimiyut of Chesed Gvur Tiferet and the Pnimiyut of the Malchut of the higher world to create the Keter of that upcoming world. So that means, to explain, to get to the Keter of Yetzirah, okay? To get to the Keter of Yetzirah, you need the Chesed Gvur Tiferet, the Pnimiyut of Chesed Gvur Tiferet of Yetzirah, joining with the Malchut, the Emunah of the Pnimiyut of Malchut of Bria, okay? That gives the bracha for the Keter now of Yetzirah, okay? So when he says Baruch Kevod Hashem Mikomo, that's Itaruta Dil Ela. Yes, you said Mayin Dechurin, you said, right? That's coming. That he's saying how it happens after you've done the initial world, okay? So now everything's, by that point, everything's Baruch Kevod Hashem Mikomo. Okay, but once that happens, then you need to activate the hands and the sechel for the next world. That's what we have until now, B'ezrat Hashem. We should be zochel l'kayim zayin. All I can say is this is so deep. We have much more to go into, and B'ezrat Hashem, we'll see what more we can pull out of this, B'ezrat Hashem. But the point is, he says you need that boost of the makom. The makom is what gives you, the Keter is what gives you the initial light to work on being b'simcha, B'ezrat Hashem. All right. Shkoyach.